Hello friends, now I'm going to tell you about the software engineering. In deep we will see module by module, but now I am just starting with the basic module. That is, now we are going to see about the software engineering with the definitions. Software engineering is concerned with a software system developed by teams rather than an individual programmer. Uses the engineering principles in the development of these systems and is made up of both the technical and non-technical aspect. It is said by Samavele, and the next one is the definition given by the Prisman. He says that software engineering is a discipline that integrates the methods, tools, and procedures for the development of the computer system software. And IEEE says the systematic approach to the development, operation, maintenance, and retirement of software is a software engineering. Software engineering is the establishment of the sound engineering principles and good management practices, and the evolution of the applicable tools and methods, and their use as appropriate in order to obtain within known but adequate resource limitations software that is of high quality in the explicitly defined sense set by Macro. Whereas Berry says software engineering is an emerging discipline that focuses on the creation, development, operation, and maintenance of cost effective, reliably correct, and high quality solutions to software problems. Now, let me say about why to study the software engineering. Yeah, this is a very good question that we have to really know its answer. We have to know about the software engineering because we have to acquire skills to break the big projects into the small and manageable size, to acquire the skills to be a better programmer, so to produce high productivity and high quality programs. We have to improve the cost and schedule estimates, to learn the techniques, to better use of the tools and techniques too, to learn to better maintenance of the already delivered software products. These all are the different answer we have to get if we really go to the software field. Now let me tell you about the software development life cycle. Friends, this is a very important thing. When we have to start this subject, we should learn about this basic and important topic. So I have selected this topic as my first and foremost topic. Well, a software life cycle is a type of process that graphically represents the sequence of various activities to build a final software product. Here I'm going to tell you about the waterfall model, prototype model, and the spiral model. And finally, we will see the comparison of the software process models also. Now we are going to see about the waterfall model. In this model, actually, first of all, the feasibility study will be taken into consideration. Feasibility study, in a sense, particular work can be done theoretically or it has some value in our practical life. It should be taken into consideration on the basis of the economic feasibility, technical feasibility, operational feasibility, political feasibility, legal feasibility, and so many type of the other feasibility test. Once the test is done, then the requirement analysis has to be done so that the customer's requirement can be taken into consideration. What exactly we have to design, what exactly we have to deliver, all those things has to be taken into consideration, and that is coming under the requirement analysis. We should know what exactly the requirement from the customer group is. Then once we get the requirement, we have to design that by using the engineering principle, and then by using any of the coding languages or any of the programming languages, we have to code it. Then we have to go for the next testing level, that is what exactly the developers are developing, is it correct, whether that particular requirement from the customer group can be given by us by using this coding. Then finally, if the testing is done, we have to deliver that product. That is the implementation. We have to use that project in our daily life. Once it is given, it is not at all the end, but the end is the maintenance. We have to know what exactly we have to do to maintain the product. That comes under the maintenance phase. This model has some of the merits and demerits. Now let me tell you about the advantages of this particular model. Here, this is the simple and the oldest method, so it is easy to understand. It is easy to understand as software development proceeds, and it helps the project manager in planning of the project. It has some disadvantages too. Let me say you about few among the many. Large number of the documentations produced in this method. This method is not suitable for a new project because of the uncertainty in the specifications. Sequential in nature of this model makes it time consuming model. So we have to go for the some better, we can say like some improved method. That is what the prototype method is. Now, before knowing what exactly the prototype model is, let me tell you about what is a prototype. A prototype is a partially developed product. It's a working system that is developed to test the ideas about the new system, and prototyping is a process of building a model of the system to be developed. This approach is used when it is difficult to know all the requirements in the beginning of the project. Most of the users do not know what exactly they want until they really see the demanded product. Many times the customers wants a quick delivery of the product. Sometimes the situation arises where the modifications require just in a part of the product rather than the entire project. Many of the situations can be seen where no other system like the proposed system was built earlier. Now, let me tell you about how the process is going on in this model. The starting point is the requirement gathering, because until unless we don't know what exactly we have to deliver, we can't do anything. That's what the beginning is. We have to gather all the requirement from the customer side. Then as per that requirement, we have to make a quick design. On the basis of the design, we have to make a prototype. Then the evaluation should be done by the customers on that prototype. Then the refinement of the prototype is to be done. Then if it is in a need of some refinement, here all the refinement will be getting done. If everything is okay, then it has to go for the engineering product. If it is not so, again the process will be continue until unless the satisfaction point has to be met by the customer's level. This model is also having many disadvantages and advantages. Let me tell you about some of the merits of this particular model. New requirements can be easily accommodated in this model. A partial product is actually built in the initial stages, so the customers get a chance to view the product in the early stage of the life cycle, and thus they can give necessary feedback too. The requirements become more clear, resulting into an accurate product, and it is an iterative in nature, so it is always in demand. Now let me tell you about the disadvantages of this model. If end users are not at all satisfied with the initial prototype, they may lose interest in the project, overall project I mean to say. If the iteration process is not well and properly managed, then the prototype demonstrations and refinement may be a continuous process for a long time, and developers used to be hurried to build the prototypes, which may lead to suboptimal solutions, which is also a very big problem in this model. Now let me go for the next model, that is a spiral model. The spiral model is a software development process combining the features of the waterfall model and the prototyping model in an effort to combine the advantages of the top-down and bottom-up concepts with the incremental refinement through each time around the spiral. These refinements make this model unique from other models, and all the documents will not be created at the beginning or at the end of this process. Moreover, like the product they define, the documents are work in progress. Planning is very important in all the life cycle model, and in this model also we can say planning is well taken into account. Well, let me tell you about this model. Each loop of the spiral represents one phase of the development. The model is well divided into 4 different quadrants, with each having a specific purpose. Each spiral shows progress made in the project. In the first quadrant, objectives, alternatives, way to develop the product, and constraints imposed in the product are identified in this phase. Next, the risk analysis, and then engineering the product, and at last the evaluation will be done by the customers. Now let me tell you, second, risk analysis. The second quadrant deals with the identification of the risk and strategies to resolve the risk. In case of the third quadrant, waterfall model concept get followed, like design, detail, design, coding, and testing. Nextly, evaluation of the product is made by the customer, as I told you, with each evaluation of the product requirements and further refinements made with a series of prototypes. If the risk is resolved successfully, planning for the next cycle is done. If at all it is a negative one, that is, if at some stages risk cannot be resolved, then project is terminated in this model. Well, this system is also having this model is also having some advantages and disadvantages. Let me tell you about the advantages here. The model tries to resolve all possible risk involved in the project in the starting level with the highest risk. With each phase, product is well refined after customers' feedback, so this model ensures a big and good quality product. Estimates like the budget, schedules, etc. become more realistic as work progresses because important issues are discovered earlier in this model. This model makes use of the techniques like the reuse, prototyping, and component-based design too. Now let me tell you about the disadvantages of this model. This model is not usable and not suitable for the small project, as cost of risk analysis may exceed the actual cost of the project. Different people involved in the project may find it complex to use. Now it is time to say about the comparison or the software process models. I'm taking here all the three models. You can see here I'm taking the different attributes. On the basis of that, how you can say there is a difference between the all three models. Well-defined requirements can be seen in the waterfall model, but it is not at all the case in the prototype model and the spiral model. If you want to know about the domain knowledge of the team members, it is well sufficient adequate in case of the waterfall model, but it is very less in case of the prototype and the spiral model. Expertise of users in the problem domain is very less in the waterfall model, but in case of prototype model it is adequate, it is sufficient, but again the spiral model is having very less, right? Now, complexity of the system, if you says, you can see that these two models are very complex in nature, but waterfall model is not so. It's simple in nature. Involvement from the user side in all the phases of the software development lifecycle will not be there in the case of the waterfall model, but involvement will be there in the prototype model. But spiral model again is not giving that much of involvement. Reusable component availability, you can find the reusable concept in case of the prototype and the spiral, but not in case of the waterfall model. Well friends, I hope this video is very useful for you. All the best for your career.